Senior, and Miss Post-Graduate Program in Southwest Local Community. He is a candidate for Master's degree in Conflict Transformation from the Kofi Annan Institute for Conflict Transformation of the University of Liberia. He holds a bachelor's degree in Political Science with emphasis on international relations from the University of Liberia. Additionally, he has obtained professional diplomas and certificates from national and international development programs. He holds certificates and diplomas in monitoring and evaluation, public sector management from the Liberia Institute of Public Administration, managing for results from the Management Development Foundation, West Africa, chapter based in Ghana, as well as formulating and implementing electoral assistance projects in the framework of UNDP and the European Commission in Brussels, Belgium. Mr. Joekai also earned bridge certificates in strategic planning, financial management from International IDEO in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and legal framework in elections from Bridge Express in Liberia, Bridges of building resources in democracy, government, and elections. Our guest speaker is an author, educator, election administrator, and a highly development-oriented person. He has worked extensively in the public sector in the areas of education, democracy, and governance in Liberia over the last 10 years. He has worked in key institutions in Liberia to include the National Legislature, Ministry of Education, and now the National Elections Commission. Our guest speaker has authored 2 books, Essential Elements for Liberia's Post-Conflict Recovery and From Refugee to Prominence, a memoir. 2 international publications that have generated so much interest both at home and abroad. He has also written several other reading materials, including published articles, poems, and papers he presented at national and international conferences. As an innovative and progressive Liberian, he continues to contribute immensely to the attainment and sustenance of peace and security in his country, Liberia, and the rest of the African continent. Over the years, he has played a pivotal role as member of ECOWAS and Mano River Union Election Observation and Technical Mission to Guinea, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana, ensuring the delivery of peaceful, credible elections in those countries. Our guest speaker is currently the Director of Civil and Voter Education at the National Elections Commission, NEC. Prior to assuming this important responsibility, this astute Liberian served as Special Assistant to the Chairman of the Commission. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we welcome our dynamic guest speaker to the program, Mr. Josiah F. Joekai.
The President, officials and members of the Liberia Movie Union, administrations and students of participating schools in the inter-high school drama competition, members of the press, our distinguished panel of judges, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the Liberia Movie Union, in particular the organizing committee, for the invitation extended me to come and share into this historic and unique occasion. Commemorating the second edition of the Inter-High School Drama Competition for me is an important step forward in the quest to restore our lost values and cultural heritage as a country. This is exactly why I want to congratulate the Liberia Movie Union for its farsightedness in endeavoring to cultivate the tenets of good citizenship, which is critical to any nation-building effort. From all indications, this initiative undertaken by the Liberia Movie Union is one of the fundamental prerequisites for the realization of our national recovery and renewal efforts in the aftermath of years of war and destruction. It is for this very national imperative that in my first publication, Essential Elements for Liberia's Post-Conflict Recovery, I discuss three key elements: managing time for sustainable recovery, grappling with nationalism in Liberia, and preserving our heritage. In my sincere opinion, these elements are very essential for the recovery of a country like ours, which is in transition. The book underscores the significance for the reclamation of our identity, culture, and respect as a people and a country. Interestingly, I see that two of these elements, particularly nationalism and heritage, as discussed in the book, do appropriately reflect the overriding objective of the inter-high school drama competition. It surely does, because the competition seeks to unveil and develop the hidden talents and potentials of the young people who are tomorrow's leaders. In so doing, the competition has to take a national dimension so that the unseen talents and potentials of young Liberians in other parts of the country, other than Montserrat County, can be equally identified and developed. However, I am fully aware that this national and noteworthy undertaking requires a considerable amount of resources to make that happen. Therefore, I want to use this platform to call on the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, as well as well-meaning Liberians, to give the Liberia Movie Union the requisite moral and financial support. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to speak to you very briefly on the subject, good citizenship, the foundation for nation building. We have come a long way as a country with an extensive history of grappling with nationalism and the preservation of our heritage. In my candid opinion, we still have a long distance to cover in this national excursion, given the colossal challenge of moral decadence, which accounts for the current state of indiscipline, lawlessness, and dishonesty at all levels of our society. I remember quite vividly when I was growing up as a schoolboy in Josiah local county, profanity and indiscipline in general was never associated with the student community. There existed a culture of discipline, hard work, and respect at home, in the community, and at school. This was so because of the discipline instilled into students by the school and the moral cultivated both in homes and in the community. I can also recall great moments at the time when we exemplified true spirit of nationalism. I mean the hosting of our national emblem, the flag. It was time for devoutness, commitment, dedication, and loyalty. Yes, it was time that we show respect and honor for our beloved country. with our chest up, our arms swinging, and marching in place uniquely like committed soldiers marching to war front and ready to die in defense of their patrimony. This great and enthusiastic movement did not only give us joy and happiness, but a true sense of belongingness. Little did we know that we were exemplifying love for country. I mean, those were times there were no miniskirts, no indecent dressing, no super fights, no camping in preparation of public exams. Absolutely no. Not even the community tolerated or endorsed such unacceptable practices, which have now become a well-entrenched culture in our schools and communities. It is no doubt that these vices, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, are largely responsible for the poor performance of students and the overall downward trend education has taken in our country. During our days in school, clearly defined social opportunities only came our way based on academic performance and decent behavior. Conversely, today, the situation has changed dramatically. Morality has eroded over the years and does not have a place in our national conversation anymore. Therefore, it is no surprise that family values are noble. Respect for each other as citizens and authorities no longer exist because of the high degree of intolerance and loss of a true spirit of peaceful coexistence. Eventually, the phrase, love for country or nationalism, is only more pronounced today than actualized. Consequently, as Africa's oldest independent nation, we are now confronted by the challenge of rebuilding our shattered country to match our contemporaries in the competitive era of globalization. The realization of Nigeria's overall recovery and development entails the establishment of reliable institutions as well as structures and systems of government capable of delivering basic social services to meet the expectation of the people. The unadulterated fact in that case is that this can only be achieved by endeavoring to institute a justice system backed by the rule of law, taking appropriate measures to revitalize the economy, and the creation of a people-friendly security system. While it is true that these measures constitute positive recovery actions, we must however place premium on the cultivation of good citizenship, which is by all means a fundamental and as such encompasses all of these interventions. I know most of you are seriously wondering why good citizenship is fundamentally important. The reason is obvious. My fellow Nigerians, good citizenship engenders honesty, sincerity, tolerance, peaceful coexistence, and respectability. These are core values that must characterize the foundations of the rebuilding of our devastated country if we should realize the true meaning of our independence and role in this new dispensation of global peace and security. The best schools for their outstanding performances in the inter-high school drama competition. I want to assure you that students of those schools will begin to experience the true meaning of good citizenship and thereby give them a sense of belonging. They will begin to realize their self-esteem, their potentials and talents needed to transform them into good citizens. has created the appropriate space for these students and impacted their lives, not only for their personal development, but for the good of the entire country. In essence, then, the time is now that Liberia is for the first time receiving so much unprecedented support from the international community for us to support the efforts of the Liberian Moving Union as it has embarked on building a new generation of citizens capable of upholding the values of good citizenship. This, my fellow Liberians, is a collective responsibility that we all have to ourselves and to our country. Finally, I wish to thank the Liberian Moving Union for this great opportunity to form part of this history-making event. Truly, I am grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right.